Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emma and I help people to heal from chronic dizziness such as PPPD. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos that can help you to heal from dizziness. And if you like the video, please like it because it will help it to reach more people. So in this video today, I want to talk about ways in which you can stop thinking about your dizziness symptoms. And I wanted to do this video because it's a conversation that comes up a lot between me and my clients. And a lot of people find it really frustrating that they seem to be thinking about their dizziness automatically, and it can feel very much like it's something you don't have a lot of control over. So people can find that they wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is they check to see if the dizziness is there and how bad it is. People can be hypervigilant throughout the day. They might have a lot of anxiety and they might feel like that hypervigilance just keeps them very focused on what's happening internally inside their body. And again, that can be very frustrating because people find that it can be difficult to find a way out of that and to stop doing that automatically. So one thing I would ask you to consider if you're somebody that's thinking about your dizziness a lot and you're not too sure what to do about that is first of all to ask yourself if you think that you're checking out of habit or if you're checking because there's some fear there and you're afraid of the symptoms. Or it could be, and this is common for a lot of people, maybe it's both. Now, if you're checking out of habit, then it could well be that maybe you're somebody that's already made quite a lot of progress in your recovery, and maybe you feel like you're about 80-90% better, but there's still some lingering sensations going on. And maybe you're annoyed that you've not made it to 100% and that you're not fully recovered. And in that case, I would really encourage you to let go of this getting to 100%, because that is still keeping you focused on what you've not yet got rid of, and really you want to be focused on well-being and what feels good to you. So if you're somebody that is still focusing on that last little bit, try and let go of that. The chances are if you are 80-90% better, you're going to be living a pretty much normal life. So try and really focus on that and don't get too caught up in these mild symptoms that are coming and going, or maybe they're present on some days but not on others. Or maybe you're somebody that's just had the dizziness for a really, really long time and you've sort of gotten used to it. So there might not be this huge fear response there, but for some reason, your brain thinks that the dizziness is important. And when you're thinking about something an awfully lot amount of time, your brain's going to think that it's important to you and it's going to give you more of that. So the more you focus upon symptoms, the more you talk about your symptoms, the more you think about your symptoms, the more you're going to be lighting up those pathways in the brain. You're going to be strengthening those pathways in the brain, and your brain's going to be giving you more of that. So if you're somebody that is checking for symptoms and thinking about dizziness and you think it's because it's out of habit, then there's a couple of things that you can do. And one of those things is to stop watching daily videos or regular videos about dizziness. It doesn't matter if it's people that's talking about how bad the dizziness is, or if it's people talking about what you need to do to get better. And that includes my videos. If you find that the only thing you're doing for your recovery is watching tons and tons of videos online, but you're not actually putting any of that information into practice, then you're probably not going to get better. All you're doing is just strengthening the pathways in the brain where you're thinking about the dizziness, and it's going to give you more of that in the long run. So if you're checking for symptoms out of habit and thinking about symptoms out of habit, get off the dizzy groups, get off the Facebook groups, stop watching daily videos, stop doing anything that's giving you that reminder of this condition that you have. And instead, and I know I talk about this a lot, but you really need to be turning your attention and doing things that you actually enjoy, because when you're focused and engaged on a task that you enjoy, your brain is not thinking about the dizziness. So anything that you can do to get yourself off the subject of dizziness is going to be really beneficial for your recovery. So the next thing that you can do to stop thinking about your symptoms is really for people that have that fear that's associated with it. And of course, that's going to be involving regulating your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, which is where that fight-flight response comes from, that sympathetic nervous system response. And so many people have this. So many people have such a strong fear and they're so afraid of their dizziness. So you really do need to work on calming your nervous system down. When you do that, automatically, when your body and your brain feel safe, you're going to be checking for symptoms and thinking about symptoms symptoms a lot less too. So we talk about hypervigilance, and hypervigilance is essentially when you have this increased awareness, an increased sense of self, and you become very aware of everything that's happening inside your body internally, and any small change can just switch that nervous system into a bit of a panic, and that could be really subtle things like changes in temperature or changes in lighting. We can overanalyze things, and it is usually disproportionate, and it's not actually relevant to the situation that we're in. So really working on the fear of symptoms and working on lowering that anxiety response to the dizziness will be really helpful. And you can do that in a number of different ways. Habituation is a very good tool that you can use, which is doing things that make you feel dizzy, go into places that make you feel dizzy, and just trigger your symptoms a small amount. So you don't want to be completely overwhelming yourself, but putting yourself in situations where you feel just a little bit of stress, and then using tools such as deep breathing, grounding exercises, and kind of calming yourself down, doing this somatic practices where you're aware of your body sensations and you're allowing them in the moment, just to really retrain your body that actually you can be in a bit of a stressful situation and that it's totally safe in order for you to be there. So if you're somebody that does have quite a lot of hypervigilance, you might want to look at exercises to improve vagal tone, and vagal tone is essentially strengthening the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body, and it plays a very crucial role in the parasympathetic nervous system response, which is your rest and digest nervous system response. So that can involve things like cold exposure, deep breathing, meditation, aerobic exercise, humming, chanting, singing. There's lots of different things you can do to improve vagal tone, and that will overall improve your body's resilience to stress. But more often than not, I think people really need to focus on the associations that they have with the dizziness, and really retraining the brain that actually you can feel dizzy in a number of different situations and calming the nervous system down that way. So you can do a combined approach, and quite often that is effective for a lot of people. I would also say that it's important to not just do things because you're trying to get rid of symptoms. So do things instead that allow you to feel your desired emotions and your desired sensations, and do things because they actually feel good to you rather than because you're trying to fix or get rid of something. So let's just say you wake up in the morning, your symptoms are quite low, so you go about your day as normal, and then in the afternoon suddenly you feel really dizzy and really anxious. So you panic because you don't like that feeling. So what you do is you rush into a different room, you do some tapping, you try to do a meditation because you're desperately trying to get rid of or fix your symptoms. And that is the wrong approach, I'm afraid to say, and I know that it might be a bit confusing to understand why, so I'm going to try my best to elaborate now. If you're only doing these practices to try and get rid of something, that's still keeping you focused on the problem, and it's still telling your brain that actually these symptoms and these sensations are not safe. So I would encourage you to do things that actually feel good to you and have a different approach to it. So meditation can be beneficial to everybody and not just people that have dizziness problems. And even on a normal good day, you could do a meditation and feel really calm afterwards. So I would encourage you to do something like a meditation because you enjoy how it actually feels in your body when you do it. So if you do it without an expectation of making anything go away, but if you do it because you trust your body and you trust that instinctual process that you have, that your body wants you to feel well and calm and relaxed, and you lean into your body sensations and you try to kind of create your desired sensations, and whether they happen or not, if you just trust the process, that can often be a lot more helpful, and you're actually focused on what it is that you want rather than what it is that you're trying to get rid of. So one thing that I used to do regularly was a body scan. I used to quite often do this when I came home from work. It was just a 10-minute practice where I could close my eyes and really just give myself 10 minutes of rest. And I was quite often symptomatic when I came home from work, but I wasn't doing the body scan because I was trying to get rid of symptoms. I was doing the body scan because it helped me to calm down. And really that was what I was focusing on. I wanted to feel calm, so I was choosing to do things that helped me to calm down. it didn't really matter whether the symptoms were still there or not after. And I would encourage you not to do a practice and check how you feel after to see if it worked, because that is still keeping you focused on symptoms. You really have to just trust your body, and some days you're going to do a practice and it feels good, and other days it's not going to work so well, and that is totally fine. But do things because they make you feel good, and also, as I said earlier in the video, do things you enjoy, because it gets you off the subject of dizziness altogether. So don't wait until you feel better before you do things. Acceptance is peace. It really is. You can do whatever you want to do, and there can be symptoms there at the same time. It is perfectly possible to go out and enjoy your life with some symptoms at the same time. Just do it at a really steady pace, take it one day at a time, and tiny baby steps are all you really need to do. But having this acceptance, whether the symptoms are there or not, is a really powerful place to be, because it shows that you can be indifferent to whether they're there or not. And when you can be indifferent to symptoms, your brain's going to realize that actually it's not that important. It can turn down the signals, and then you can start to feel more of your desired sensations as time goes on. Now, this leads me on to my last point, which is to stop evaluating your dizziness throughout the day. Now, this is something that I went through a stage of doing, and it was really unhelpful, and it really does make you check for symptoms a lot more than what you normally would be. And so I would wake up in the morning and I would give my dizziness a score out of 10, and then I would get to work and then I would write it down. I actually wrote this down, what my symptoms were out of 10. I would then check at lunchtime, I would then check in the afternoon, and I did this every single day. So try not to analyze your dizziness all the time. Stop evaluating it, stop writing down, and instead, what I did was, because I was thinking about the dizziness so much, I instead read books about healing, and I gave my brain something else to focus on. So even though it was kind of in that subject, like I did a lot on the nervous system, it really helped me to educate myself and learn about what was going on inside my body. And it gave my brain something else to focus on, but it gave it a new direction. It gave it more of a positive direction. It gave me something to work towards. I was learning tools and practices that I could use on myself to help myself feel better. And it really helped just to reframe how I felt about the dizziness. So I hope I've given you a few tips to help you to stop thinking about your dizziness as much. As I said at the start of the video, it's really helpful to understand the reason why you're checking for symptoms in the first place, whether it's out of habit, out of fear, or both. And then hopefully that can point you in the right direction for what you need to do in order to help you to stop thinking about your symptoms as much. It might feel like a really big mountain to climb, and you might feel like you really can't help it and it's happening automatically and you don't know what to do about that. But essentially redirecting your focus and doing what you need to do, whether it's nervous system regulation, staying off the dizzy groups, getting more involved in activities that you enjoy, whichever it is, just you need to be doing something differently than what you're doing currently. So in order to change, you need to change. But it is absolutely possible to do. I'm living proof of that. I don't think about my dizziness anymore in even the most triggering of places. Walking into supermarkets, places with really bright lights were huge triggers for me, and I now do it with ease. I don't check for symptoms and I don't think about it when I'm there. So it was a long road to recovery, and it did take some time and some practice, and I had to be intentional with it, but I did get there. So you can too, and I hope you find the video helpful, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.